Here we go. Everybody look over here, please. Everybody look over here. There we go.
I got it right here.
What is your prevalent memory of filming RoboCop?
My prevalent memory of filming RoboCop was, oh my gosh, I don't know, Devin. Can we edit this and get the thing? Oh my gosh, that is just, oh, okay. My prevalent memory is looking right at the camera and delivering my lines in a film, because you never do that. You're like, the camera was just put right on my face. So that's the biggest memory, because that was the most different thing about it for my scenes, for being the flashback woman, the flashback wife.
Danger. The fun and the danger. We had a lot of fun doing it. The Nightmare on Elm Street, the section where we're blowing up all the cars and everything, that was pretty strong memory, since they asked all the patrons to move as far away as they could, and they asked the actors to stand right here, stand right here. That was great though. We had a really good time. It was a good time. Working with everybody was great, but those scenes were really, really over the top in terms of an actor, because you didn't really have to act, because there was enough stuff going on that you just simply had to react to it. So
I want to say the night shoots. I remember the late Robert Dokey. He was in the movie with us. Robert passed maybe a few years ago, and I think I was only on the set maybe like 2 weeks, but they were like maybe 1 week on, 1 week off, that type of thing. And I think the most important advice that I ever got was to come on set when I wasn't shooting, so I could learn as much as possible, because it was my very first film. I had no idea that it was going to be such a big hit, and I'm from Dallas. I grew up here, so a lot of films didn't come to this area of the country. So something this big, I wanted to learn as much as possible. But I would be on those night shoots, and no matter how sleepy I would get, I would be there watching and learning so I could get familiar with filmmaking. And I'm still in the business now. I have my own production company, but that is my most memorable thing about it, just being there on the night shoots and just sitting there in awe, and all the explosions, all the things that I know you've seen the movie, so you know what I'm talking.
It was one of the worst experiences of my life. I don't know what else to say. The film turned out pretty good, I guess. Because we're here, and. But I got beat up every hour of every day by Paul Verhoeven, the director. And, we went to the locations today, and it was like, oh, I remember this. This is where Paul Verhoeven threatened to kill me. And, oh, I remember this. When we blew up the gas station, the fire department wanted to arrest me, and he said the explosion wasn't big enough. And I remember, it brought back this flood of memories. And, I've gotten over it after 25 years.
So some good therapy in between now and then.
Yeah, no therapy. But the therapy was the movie. Turned out to be pretty good. And, but the experience of working with Paul then, I worked with him afterwards, and he was fine. He was a swell guy, But I don't know what it was. Maybe it was because it was his first American film, that, I don't know. So it was quite an adventure. We had, I remember we were staying at the Hyatt, and we would, every morning I'd walk across the train tracks. There was before the station was there. Walk across the train tracks, and our office was in the first floor of the train station. And I would just hope to make it to the office before something terrible happened.
We were writing the fourth draft for Paul Verhoeven, and the shuttle accident happened. And as the shuttle engulfed in flames, falling back to the earth, an example of technology gone haywire, which our film was about, I started singing the Philip Glass Koyaanisqatsi soundtrack, and John Davison looked at me and said, "That is awful." I thought he was going to fire me. That's probably one of my most profound memories.
One of the things that I've found after viewing RoboCop over and over again is how prescient that the screenplay was, not necessarily for the technology aspect, but for the death of the individual and the assimilation of the corporation. Was that something you were aiming for from the get-go?
Absolutely. It's a really great question. Being an old hippie who had hair down to my ass and a student of history, if you remember back to the Dutch East India Company, one of the first successful corporations, the governments at the time were just hollowed out shells, empowering this company to exploit workers, the environment, etc. So America hit its stride in the 80s. The empire was big, a Republican was president, and we always felt that the film was comic relief for a cynical decade. The corporate takeover had already started, however, we were critiquing that directly. And it's like a Western where the cop comes in to try to clean up the corrupt town. Things are a little too complicated now, judging by even the street that we're on, to clean it up. But everyone yearns for an honest man, right? An honest person. And maybe a human inside a machine has values that are different than we people of mere flesh. So I think all of that's operating in the film.
When people who might not know that you worked on the film and were so heavily involved in the script are quoting lines back to you, like, "I'd buy that for $1," or "Your move, creep," it's got to just give you that sense of just jump of pride at that point.
It was fun. I mean, my wife and I were in a restaurant in New York, and the waiter found out I co-wrote RoboCop, and he said my favorite line was "Bitches leave," and you know, my wife was not offended. She said, "Sister, I'm you know, feminist supporter of women's rights," but it was fun. It's a lot of fun. It's always a lot of fun. I feel very fortunate to have that experience.
Here at the Texas, the 25th anniversary, seeing all these guys and gals who you probably haven't seen, some of them in 25 years, what's going through your mind right now?
I should buy a lottery ticket. No, it's great. It's it may be the closest thing to a kind of immortality that an artist can experience here, you know, especially with an industry that protects the experience, and all you folks coming out and celebrating this thing. It's wonderful. It's a great experience. I really feel fortunate. Thank you.
Talk to me about the process of lining up this amazing group of people to come back and celebrate the 25th anniversary of RoboCop.
You know what? It was a labor of love. I worked on the film a little bit myself. I'm not in the credits because I was a second unit PA. It was the very last show I worked on as a PA. And, you know, there's just a lot of history there. A lot of these folks I've known my whole career almost. And I felt like, you know, we really needed to celebrate such an iconic film that was shot here. And so, you know, you just say we're going to do it, and you start Facebooking people, and you know, it kind of came together weirdly. My house I had on the market for almost a year sold right before as we were starting planning, and I'm like going, oh my God. So I had to pack and move and all that, but it's happened. We're here, and I couldn't be more excited to have Peter and John and Ed and Michael and the whole gang here. Is fantastic. It's good for Dallas.
What is your prevalent memory of filming RoboCop?
Oh, I'd get myself in trouble.
It's just you and me, Janice. Nobody else is here. It's fine.
Part of the job as a set PA, you know, is often going and getting the actors to come to the set. And Peter was kind of particular about how he would be brought to the set. You had to go stand outside his trailer and wait for him to see you to know that it was time to go to the set.
No knocking.
No knocking. And one time, he didn't come out. And the ADs were calling me on the walkie going, "Where's Peter?" And I'm like, "I don't know, he's not coming out." And they're like, "Knock on the door," and I'm like, "He'll kill me." And so they said, "We'll protect you." And so I knock on the door, nothing. They said, "Well, open the door and call." I'm like, "He'll kill me." And so I open the door and I call, and there's dead silence. Realized he wasn't in the trailer. Now, I'm sorry this is going long, but we were shooting on Hotel Street where, you know, a lot of stuff didn't used to be. And they were staying at the Hyatt down the road. And somehow or another, without any of us seeing it, he was in his RoboCop outfit, had walked back to the hotel.
In the full suit.
Yeah. And we couldn't find him, and nobody knew where he was, and he was in his hotel. So that is my most prevalent memory.
That is genius. All right, really quick, without just saying we've got to get incentives back, is there anything that the viewers can do to try to convince the legislature to get the incentives back and start, and convince producers that we need to have that production boom like we had in 08 and 09?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of, we still have incentives. What we don't have is enough money in the fund, and I know it was a bad year, but this is as safe incentive as you can get, because they have to come and spend their money before they get any kind of help back. So it's very safe. It's an after the fact. They've already spent it or they won't get it back, but without that it's very hard to get it. So we need to get more funds in the pot, but we also need to raise our percentage to be more competitive with our other states, because without that it makes it extremely hard for us to compete.
On opening night, you have Mayor Mike Rawlings basically calling out the other states as second-rate places to film. And while none of us would have probably used that language, I think we're all sitting there saying you can have every kind of shoot in Dallas. And we proved it with the good guys. We proved it with Chase.
Yeah, I mean, look, the other states are borrowing our crew and equipment. Okay, thankfully they would rather live here. And a lot of them are coming back, but we've had a little bit of bleeding, but I do believe if we get competitive, they will be back here in a heartbeat and then some. I think we're already seeing people from Los Angeles and other parts of the country that want to move here, because we have a great quality of life. This is a good place to live, and it's not expensive to live here, and it's a great place to work. So just a little bit of fuel in the tank, we can do big things.
The most prevalent memory was the astounding pace with which Verhoeven shot the film. How it was all go, 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 man. And I was on a macrobiotic diet and training for a New York marathon, and the discipline, just the discipline and the sense of drive that the whole movie had was...
Maybe your aha moment with Verhoeven also, when he explained what.
Yeah, no, yeah,
what you were
but I'll talk
about.
about that. Yeah, but that's like, without Verhoeven, the movie would have been great, but not as great, because Verhoeven is the turning point of that took that film and exploded it into something unique and non-ephemeral. It'll last forever, I think.
One of the prevalent themes that, as you watch the movie over and over again, you see that the death of the individual and basically the assimilation into a corporation structure, like you see it happening now, more prevalent or prescient than you could have imagined even filming it 25 years ago.
Didn't even think about it then. Think about it all the time now. Whenever I'm interviewed by the lesser countries who love the film, they always ask me the questions about how prescient that was to make a story about the privatization of the individual, essentially representing the third world or whatever. And after enough corporate looting in the world and enough third world countries, essentially, I don't believe in the trickle-down theory. I believe if you're going to hire labor, you pay them a decent wage. And RoboCop, attends to all of that, man. I wasn't thinking about it then. I think about it now, and I think that's perhaps why the movie lasts.
Enjoy the red carpet, man. Again, it's a pleasure to see you guys, and have a great time tonight.
He's not seen it yet.
Oh, well, at least it's the theatrical and not the Verhoeven cut.
Hi, guy.